Oh my god, the host just triple sat me.
Do you see who's food running tonight?
56 was just sitting there making out the entire time I was trying to take
Why do we have
order.
so many servers on the floor? Did you hear about 73?
This is a work of fiction. Any similarity to actual persons, living or dead, or actual events, is purely coincidental.
All right, that's fine. Just when I go to get in my car, you go ahead.
I'm leaving immediately.
I'm all, what? Why would you do this to me? Not that you haven't done it before.
Okay, it was a long time and I felt really bad.
All right. So, welcome back, everybody. This is Rolling Silverware. Is that what we say? What do we say?
No, not even a little. What are you doing? I was so confused. I was like I'm going to let you roll with
you
it.
You introduce more often than I do.
We've done it equally amount of times, I'm pretty sure.
All right. Welcome back to Rolling Silverware.
It is.
Bunny.
I'm Kat.
And we've had quite a night.
Oh my god, my night. Let's start from the beginning.
A little bit of pre-shift.
I clock in within 20 minutes of clocking in. So originally I go up to the front desk and the host that's working is the host that's been with us for like 7-8 years.
Yep.
She's been hosting forever.
She knows everything.
She knows that front desk at least.
You hope.
And he's like, "Oh, you ready to get sat?" I was like, "Not really, but there's a bunch of people in the front." She's like, "This is 2 separate parties of 4." So I'm like, "Okay, if you need to double seat me. I can handle a double seat. No worries.
It's a party of 8.
Yeah,
No big deal.
I was like, "Fuck it, yeah." So she double seats me while I'm greeting these 2 tables. She seats me again, another 4-top.
Yeah.
Okay. So I go and I get them going. As I'm putting in the orders for all of 3 of these 4-tops, all of them were 4-tops. As I'm putting in the order for these, she seats me another table.
Yep.
And I'm like, there are empty tables in the restaurant.
Throughout the restaurant. Everybody was on by the time you got on.
That's what I'm saying. There are servers here that have 1 table, and I was not in a section that gets requested. It's not like people were like, "Hey, can I get that back corner?
Can you put me as far away from everything that I can see possible?
Can you segregate me into my own separate room with random strangers?
Tuck me into a corner somewhere? Thank you so much.
I wasn't in a section that gets requested at all, so I did not understand why she was seating me that much. I was just like, okay, whatever. I talked to the host manager, and I'm like, I don't understand what she's doing. Like, why is she doing this to me?
Why is this happening?
And it kept happening. I got double sat almost every single time she sat me. She sat me 2 tables.
Yes. And because at that point, the timing is 2 tables are up consistently at the same time.
Right.
Because once you get the double seat, you're almost guaranteed to continue getting them. Because then those tables will be up around the same time almost for the rest of the night.
Yeah. So she just kept... and even when L1 got cut, and I don't know why I said it like that. Got
What?
cut.
What?
What'd you say? Once L1 got cut and I got put into L1, she's seating me like 2-3 tables at a time. I'm
right.
like, why? Why are you doing this?
I wasn't getting 2 or 3 tables at a time, except right when I got there.
Right.
Where I walk in and I have the morning hammer telling me, "Hey, funny story for you," as I've already seen her in the private dining area greeting what seems to me to be a very large party. So I asked the host and I was like, "How big is the party?" He goes, "It's 25 and it's going to be you and a server that doesn't come on for 30 minutes.
I'm not doing all the work on that table.
That's everything.
That's all of it.
That's all of it until we're just waiting for the food to come out. Like, okay,
Even
thanks
then,
for the help with that.
Half an hour later, they might be eating by that point.
Right. And on top of that, I'm the hammer, so I'm getting sat while they're telling me this about this large party. And I didn't just get sat once, I got sat twice. And so the host manager comes up to me and he's like, "So I want to talk to you about this party that's going on. Morning Hammer already got it greeted for you." And I was like, right. And I don't understand why me as the nighttime hammer is taking it. I was like, as you can tell, I'm getting tables. I'm the section that fills up with all the tables because we don't have any other fucking servers coming on.
Yep.
So, L1 was there, but she's across the restaurant on the other side.
Complete opposite side of the restaurant.
Right. So I didn't expect her to help me with it, but I'm just like, I don't understand. So then I get double sat like immediately, and I'm told that I have to take this large party. And then moments after, while I'm complaining about having to take this large party, I get sat a 3rd time. One of my tables hasn't even been greeted yet, so now I've got basically a triple seat in no time at all, and I just go, "See? This is what I'm talking about." I just walked away. I was like, I just need a minute to collect myself. I'll get to the party. Like, they've already been greeted. They're fine. They're also waiting for seemingly 15 more people.
Yeah.
To which we then found out that it was only going to be a party of 10. Okay, fine. We gave it to L1. And it all ended up working out just fine. But I was not about it at all. Like, when I just fucking walked in. I haven't even clocked in yet.
Yeah.
I have 2 minutes until I'm even on your clock, and I have not one, not two, but 3 separate individuals telling me what I have to do.
Yeah.
Okay, I should have just stayed in the back. I should have
Yeah.
just stayed tucked away, because then you can't all bombard me with this. Oh, you have this, you have this, you have this. And it's like, great. Are you going to talk to them? Are you going to talk to them? Are you going to talk to them? Because I'm not on the clock yet, so I'm not doing fuck all. Yeah, basically I wormed my way out of having to take the party, which is good, because then I did continuously get sat, and I even ended up with tables in another section before any other servers, before even my party help got on.
Yeah.
Like,
fair.
before he even arrived, I was taking tables in now another section, so I would have been at 7 tables, party included, if I took the party. So, like, thank God I didn't have to.
Yeah.
But I just hate being bombarded with so much information. Like, the moment I walk in the door, like, that's my least favorite way to start a shift ever.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, so we already set you a party at 10, and they've been here for 10 minutes, and we knew you were coming, and we knew you'd be on time, so, like, it's totally fine. And it's like, what if I fucking wasn't, though?
What if this is the one time that I got caught in traffic or something happened and I had to call and be like, hey, my kid's getting sick. I don't have a babysitter for another half an hour.
Right, and, like, who's taking care of that table? Because you're just leaving it like, oh, yeah, your server will be here in a bit.
Yeah, that's so
and then,
weird.
or being, like, triple sat before I even fucking get there.
Oh, I hate that.
And it's like, okay, great. I guess I'll go do damage control the moment I clock in.
Yeah.
No, I hate it.
So that was my whole night, right? It was just getting like double sat, triple sat, whatever. But at one point, I was never in the weeds. I was busy all night. My whole night I was busy. I never
Yeah,
at
you were
one
running
point,
around.
Yeah, I never at one point had like less than 4 or 5 tables.
Right.
But at one point I have 2 tables that are checking out. So, okay, cool. So I go and I grab their credit cards, and we have little clipboards, right, that we put our receipts on, and I feel like they're secure on the clipboards. So I throw them up underneath my arm. I also have menus that I took off another table that I took their order for up underneath my arm. I go into the back. I have some dirty plates that I grabbed from a table. I go back to the dish pit. The busser's there. He says, just drop and go. Great. I drop and go. I walk out. I go into the bev station. I get a hot towel because one of my tables asked for a hot towel. Like, something was sticky on her menu or something, so she wanted a hot towel. Great. I grab that. I grab bread. On my way back, I stop at the POS station to run these cards. I put the clipboards down, and one of the clipboards does not have a credit card on it. And I start panicking. Immediately, I'm like, I lost a credit card. So I start going back around.
Backtrack.
Yeah, I'm backtracking everywhere that I had gone to look for this credit card. I cannot find it.
Yep.
I'm now pulling in busters. Hey, I'm missing a credit card.
That's
It's
when I
Greg.
came up. When you asked the busser and you're like, I need help finding a credit card.
Yep.
It's silver in color. Immediately, I'm looking. I'm telling every single person I pass.
At this point,
We all need to look for this card.
yes.
I'm checking under people's feet. I'm walking around. I'm glancing underneath, refrigerators, because I was like, what was your path? Like, what did you do?
Yes. In my almost 2 decades of service, I have never misplaced a credit card quite this bad. Like, it's
never longer than a moment. Like,
Right.
it slipped into my apron and I thought it was clipped,
Exactly. So I've definitely, I've found them in my apron, or,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, I've found them in my server booklet, or,
Sure.
you know what I mean? There's definitely been,
Or I've
like,
definitely
weird
dropped
times.
one before, but it's like, as soon as I attempt my backtrack, it's like right there.
Exactly.
It's never missing from sight.
No. And at this point, busters are looking, multiple servers are looking.
We had half the crew at least.
Management is digging through trash cans.
Yeah.
In the back by the by the dish pit,
Yep.
looking for these. I had every single eye that I could looking for this credit card, and it got to a point where it had been too long.
Too much time has
Too
passed.
much time had passed, and the table had obviously seen more than half the service staff looking around,
Searching
at their
around.
feet. So a manager had to go and talk to the table and tell them that I misplaced their credit card. And
I felt so bad.
I was bawling.
Yeah.
I was straight crying.
I checked
as
through the
normal.
linen bag that we had. I just started, because you said you hit the dish pit, so I was like, well, maybe you had a piece of linen that caught the card, and pulled it in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I dug through there. We had busters digging through the trash.
Yeah.
Like every inch of the trash.
Yes, they literally went through
Yeah.
individual pieces of the trash. They took it out back and started going through it and trying to find this credit card.
Oh my God.
And I was just crying. I was just crying at a
What,
terminal.
what
because
else are you going to do?
I've never had it be this bad for me.
No, I've never fully misplaced one.
And I already know that it's sketch, there's a lot of places now where you pay at the table. You know
Right,
what
with
I
the
mean?
little kiosk or
They
whatever.
have-
Or
they
they have the little handheld.
Mm-hmm. They bring you a handheld or something. There's not a lot of places where you still
Hand off your card.
give them your credit card. And now it just looks like I'm trying to steal my guest credit card. And I was just embarrassed. And
I mean, it probably didn't look like that. That's such an absurd thing to happen. Like, oh, you know what? I'm just gonna take this. Ha ha ha. Like,
I don't
that's
maybe.
risky business. Like,
It did, for sure.
and also, who's not gonna cancel their credit card or debit card immediately? Like I was telling the
I hope that
manager
they
later,
did.
I have a toggle switch on both of my credit cards and my debit card. So all I have to do is log in and then toggle it off. Now
I
that
know.
card is disconnected. It's still my card. I don't have to order a new one yet. But now it's off. So anybody who goes to swipe it anywhere cannot.
Yeah, I felt absolutely fucking awful. Like that is a mistake that I have never made to that level.
Sure.
I had 100.
It's upsetting. I would
the
be
tab was
equally
like
upset.
$160 that they ended up comping.
Yeah, of course.
Obviously, yeah. The whole bill is comped as server error. So I will not be surprised if I get hit with a write-up for that. Like
I don't think so.
I'm 100% expecting a write-up. Eventually, we did.
It was an accident, and we did eventually
end up
find the
finding
card.
it. Paranorman found it, and he has never been. I've never seen him so proud.
Oh my God, that was the highlight of his week.
It really
this
was.
man is holding it above his head, shouting
Triumphant.
to the restaurant, "I did it! I did it! I found it! I win!" That's what
Yep.
he's saying. Now, keep in mind the table is gone. We have comped out their food, and we've
Yes.
even given them a $50 card.
Yes.
To be like,
to come back, please.
Right, please come back. We are so sorry. Also, your card is somewhere. Like, it is somewhere here. It will be found.
Yeah.
Because nobody had time to pick up that card, like walking to the bathroom or anything.
No.
Like, there's no way. And also, I've had people turn in cards, like, left and right. It's just like
Yeah.
an immediate, hey, I found this card on the ground, or I found it in the bathroom, whatever. It happens. But no, he was so emphatically excited about this. He
So happy.
walked up and he's like, "I did it. I win." And I was like, hell yeah. And so I snagged it from him to come and tell you the good news.
Yeah.
Because I needed to deliver some good news to you. And I'm like,
I'm
like, haha, it's been found. And you're like, oh, thank God.
I spent 10 minutes at least crying.
Yeah.
L1 was already cut, and she had to greet a couple of tables
Yeah.
for me and like take some orders for me because I was not in a place where I could talk to anybody.
No.
I was so upset with myself.
Well, and like we had said, that table who was still there and their credit card is missing, they're not going to see me ever again. Like
No.
I'm so embarrassed. I'm so beside myself. You're not going to see me happily greeting the table next to you.
No.
Could you imagine your server has lost your card and they're just over here like, "Hey guys, what can
Welcome
I get for
in."
you?"
Yeah, no.
No, absolutely not. I would have been in the fridge hiding, like just so far out from sight.
I did. I hid from them, and
Yeah.
I was so
Rightfully so.
embarrassed. I felt like absolute garbage. I was so upset with myself that I had done something like that.
Sure.
If I do, like I said, if I do get written up, I would not be surprised. And that is a write up that I will absolutely sign. I don't sign a whole lot of write ups.
No.
But that, in a sense of having like $160 server error
Right.
comp, like I won't be surprised.
I
if they
could
come
see
to
them
me.
talking to you about it if the card was never found. I think because we found the
Maybe.
card and we were able to call them and text them and let them know that the card has been found. So therefore, whether they've canceled it already or not, or just paused the account, you get your card back. Like you know for sure that nobody has purchased anything with your card.
Yeah.
Because we're handing it right back to you, and you'll see that there's nothing on your, like credit card account anywhere saying that anything has happened. I don't think it'll be a write-up. I feel like that would be incredibly extreme. But I mean, you never know. But
Yeah.
it's like accidents do happen. Like we are
I
people at the end
know.
of the day, and people do cause errors and mistakes.
But
And
having
it's,
an accident with somebody's finances is
of course it's upsetting.
crazy.
Of course it's upsetting. I just felt so bad because you're like, I just want to fucking go home now. And I was like, you should. Like, you should go home. That's totally fine. I'll see you tomorrow. Like,
But,
cool.
yeah.
We'll reschedule for tomorrow. Nothing matters. But I also wanted to be like, I'll just buy you a shot. Like, I'll buy you a shot right now. I'll pay for it out of pocket. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Let's just figure this out.
It was so uncomfortable. cherry on top of that, the uncomfortableness of, because I was crying at a terminal. Like, I was looking around.
Right.
I'm at a terminal, a POS station, and I'm just sobbing uncontrollably. I cannot stop this. I have a towel up to my face, like wiping my tears. I am very clearly super upset and crying in front of this table. Like, my tables.
Yeah, they're off to the side, but you were there in eyesight.
But like other tables. I'm sorry, not the one that I had lost their credit
card.
No,
they were well and gone.
Yeah, they were well and gone. But like other tables, I'm visibly crying in front of them, and then 15 minutes later, I had to walk over and be like, "Did you want some more iced tea?" Like, so uncomfortable. And Can
I tempt you with dessert tonight?
I know. Is there anything else I can get for you? I mean, obviously, I had stopped crying at some point, but these tables were still there that had seen me have a full breakdown. Yeah. And I felt so weird going up to them and be like, so...
I would have rocked it out, and I would have kept a little bit of tears in my eyes and just been like, it's just
it's been a rough night.
It's just been a rough night. I'm so sorry. I just want to get back to like giving you guys the greatest service possible. Let them think fucking whatever. Let them think your grandma died. I don't know. Like, you just got some terrible news, and they're making you still work. Oh my god!
My husband texted me and told me that he's leaving. Are there any?
And you
more
can't even clock out. Like,
you
don't have to give them a reason, but just let them think whatever they're gonna think about it. Like, that's again.
Yeah.
Accidents happen. It happens.
I just felt so awful.
Of course. Awful. Well, and I've never lost a card. I've definitely dropped them on the ground, like I said, or I've lost it in my apron for a handful of moments, and I'm just like, oh, holy shit, what the fuck? But I have had money leave the book after I took it from a table, and then I go to the terminal, and it was like they paid me, $200 and some change, and I'm only counting $100 in change. And that doesn't cover their bill. So I had to go back up to the table to be like, oh, guys, I'm so sorry. It just looks like there isn't enough money here to cover your bill. To have a man start shouting at me that I have pocketed $100 and that I'm just trying to scam him out of money. And I'm like, sir, I'm so like, I went over to the computer, and when I opened it up, this is what was there, and I'm showing him. And he's like, I put $200 bills in there. I did that. So he's upset.
Yeah.
Like, I have now completely upset this table just to then turn around to walk to go get a manager and have one of my coworkers holding a $100 bill in his hand and being like, is this yours? Because I had told like 2 or 3 people, like, oh, they didn't even pay me enough money. And then I go back to the table. So not as bad in the sense of like, I didn't have to comp their whole meal or anything, but I have straight up walked up to a table and been like, you didn't give me enough. And they're like, I sure the fuck did. So what are you? And cash is entirely different.
Yeah.
There's no paper trail there as far as like your credit card being used somewhere. Now it's like, they're like, oh, so you just stole $100.
Yeah.
And now they think the worst of me, like the worst possible thing they can think.
Now you're absolutely getting them change.
Right.
Yeah.
Immediately back, I was like, oh my God, guys, I'm so sorry it fell on the ground. And like, they were fine with it after all. But that man was so upset. Like,
yeah,
he hated me. And I was just like, oh, great. So, I mean, like I said, accidents happen. It happens.
It's just such a, like, off... It wasn't even, like, an off night. I definitely went in to the shift not really, like, feeling 100%. I didn't...
No, the moment I saw you, you're like, I don't want to be here.
Yeah, it was just one of those days where I was just like, ugh. And I feel like the last couple of days, I've just had a lot of, like, anxiety over just personal things happening in my life. Like, it's nothing that really is going on with work. Like, I don't have a whole lot of anxiety about work, but I've just been going into work kind of feeling like dull.
Right.
Because I have things going on like outside of work that just make me like anxious.
Sure. Well, and it's hard sometimes, like you want to walk into work and you want to separate yourself from everything outside, but depending on what's going on, that can be really hard to do.
Yeah, and it's definitely, I don't think I've had any like tables notice, you know what I mean?
Right.
That I've been like off counter or whatever, but I haven't been going into work with the same amount of makeup or you know what I mean? So like I just don't look as like grandiose and extravagant as I normally do.
Does.
Yeah, because I've just been like when I'm at home, I can't bring myself to, throw on the wig and throw on, the massive amounts of eyeliner and all the freckles and this and that. And I just haven't had the energy to do it at home. So when I get into work, I just don't feel quite the same.
Sure.
But then when I get to the tables, I'm on stage and I'm doing what I do and I'm
they
good
don't
at
know.
it.
Yeah, they don't know any difference.
Yeah, none of them know the difference. But people that work with me every day, they're looking at me and they're like, wow, she doesn't look
Right.
as
When
extravagant as she
I went
normally
a
does.
little above and beyond for
You really
myself
did.
with makeup and hair today,
It looked
and
great.
you came walking in and still looking fucking amazing like you always
shut
do.
up.
But I looked you up and down. I went, oh, we're not going all out today. Like
Yeah.
I went all out today. Look, and then immediately you were like, oh my god, your eyeliner and this and that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And thank you, because I tried. Like it was a whole like my jewelry matches my hair clips, matches my makeup. Like it was like I put it all together.
Yeah.
And then I saw you and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not one
I
of those
didn't go all
days.
out because I just couldn't be asked getting
Sure.
ready. Like I kept putting off getting ready, kept putting it off to a point where I had 45 minutes to do my hair and makeup, and I was just like, fuck, all right,
Well.
okay. So it was just one of those things where that's been like the last couple of days.
Okay.
And then
I mean, an off week happens.
yeah, but then for that to happen,
Oh,
and I was just like,
Such a hit.
yeah, and I was on top of it. That's the most annoying thing is like I had a lot going on,
Right.
but I was on top of it.
Yeah.
I was mad that it was happening because I didn't want to have that much going on. I wanted to have a nice, easy day.
Yeah.
Where, I just took a couple tables and then I fucked off and went
Yeah.
home. Like, that's what I wanted.
It was just a great day.
But no, I got like quadruple sat practically.
Yeah.
At 20 minutes getting to my shift, and I'm just like, great, so this is how it's gonna go. And I was just like, fine, whatever. And I was on top of it, and then all of a sudden I was very much not on top of it. And I
Aw.
just started drowning because of that, because
Yeah.
I couldn't take care of my tables. Thankfully, L1, that is one thing about a restaurant. I feel like there is definitely
We
camaraderie.
banded
Yeah.
together today. Like I love our crew most days. Like I really
Same.
don't have issues with that many people. Like I know we talk a lot of shit, and that's kind of the point. But also, like, I don't, like, I do feel like these people would have my back if I needed. And today, really, like, after it was found and after we all came back around, like, that, it felt like, wow, like, we have a team here where we had kitchen guys
Yeah.
looking around, Like, as soon as everybody found out what had happened, we're all on the same team. And that did feel really good, like, for me after the fact, right?
Yeah.
When I was like, hey, like, it's found, we're doing okay, everything's going to be all right.
Yeah.
But also look at the steps that literally every single person who heard took to help. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I paused my tables entirely. Like, luckily I had two people eating and one table waiting for food, so I didn't really have a lot to do. But they didn't see any sight of me until we figured it out. I was just like, hey, I'll be back to you guys as soon as I can. We've got shit going on.
Yeah, one guy I was talking to at the very end of the night, and he was like, "Oh, how was your night? Did you make a lot of money?" And I was like, "Oh my God, you didn't hear what happened at 56?" And he goes, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, "I lost their credit card." And he goes, "Oh my God, that was you?"
Yeah.
Like, and he was helping look.
Yeah.
Like he literally didn't even know that
No,
it was
it
me.
was
He
just a card
heard-
has been missing. I mean, host was involved, to
Yep.
bussers, to back a house, like it across the board. I just feel like everybody really came together, and that was kind of
they really did. And honestly, when Paranorman found it, I said this to his girlfriend too, because I was talking to her about it a little bit later, and I was like, "Yeah, I don't think I was close to hugging him."
right.
And she was like, "Oh, huh." And then Paranorman walks up and he was like, "What's that?" And I was like, "Oh, I was just telling your girl that I was like close to hugging you when you found that." And he goes, "Oh my God." Like he knows how
Right.
intense that statement
Sentiment
is.
is,
Yeah,
yeah.
coming from me. I was like, yeah, there's not a whole lot of times that I've been like very happy with
Yeah.
Paranorman or like super proud of him. And that was one of them.
Yeah, that was one of
Like
them.
he
I told him
incredible.
we were talking at the host stand. He's like, man, that was like I felt like I was on an Easter egg hunt. He's like, I wasn't gonna give up till I found it.
I love that.
Because he's the one that told me that when he dropped a card one time, it flew so much further than he thought a card would go. And he actually found it underneath a refrigerator
Right.
in like his old restaurant's beverage station. And I was like, oh my God, thank you for telling me that. So now I'm searching very low. And I'm thinking maybe it got kicked across the floor, right?
Which is essentially what happened. It got kicked to the back of a cubby hole
Right.
that like people were kind of like peeking into, but
I
weren't
didn't
looking
see
into
it,
the
and I
very back of
definitely
it.
looked.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he was like, oh yeah, like I wasn't going to give up until I found it. I was like, yeah, you definitely went up a couple notches for me. Like,
Yeah.
good on you. Because yeah, he also entirely paused whatever was going on to make sure that happened.
Yeah, and I'm not nice to him.
Not by any means.
and he did all of that for me. Like that's
Yeah.
so incredible. Yeah, for sure. It was one of those things that just the team really came together for
Yeah.
me tonight. And L1 seeing that like I couldn't take care of my tables, and she was like, well, there's 10 other people looking for this credit card. I'm going to take care of your
Right.
tables for you. You know what I mean? Like there was just a lot of common sense happening as well of
Yeah,
people
and
realizing,
it was a group effort all the way around,
Mhm.
and I think that was really nice
yeah.
to see.
Yeah.
So speaking of new things that have been implemented and that are ridiculous, now when we are cut from the floor, we receive a cut slip telling us the time in which we have been cut, how many active tables we have, and an active table to them is anybody who has not ordered dinner yet, has not ordered entrees yet, is an active table. So that means if they're eating dinner, whether it just sat down 1 minute ago or they've been eating dinner for 20 minutes, they're no longer a quote-unquote active table. So they're giving us these slips because they want to figure out, they're like, well, we just want to see like how much time it really takes for you guys to get off the clock.
Okay.
And like, I get it. I've come from other locations or other places where it's like, hey, you have, 45 minutes to an hour after your cut to get off the clock. That's all well and good. But if I have 5 tables and only 2 of them you're calling active, that's still 5 tables I have to be aware of. And our side work here is a lot.
It's quite a bit. This is probably the most side work I've ever done at a location.
This is definitely one of the higher side works for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And that's including rolls. And it's like, I'm not in charge of when the rolls get, like when my silverware gets run out of the dish pit. That's up to the dish guy. And I've asked him to run it and I hope he does, but he's got other shit to do too.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyways, so the thing is they want us 45 minutes after our cut time to be off the clock and then 15 additional minutes for every active table that you have.
Right. But isn't the standard that if you don't have food in, they haven't ordered yet, then you have to give up that table?
So it is, however, at our location, we don't do that. And so that's why they're giving us the additional 15 minutes per table.
Okay.
So if this was a different location of our same chain, if you get cut, it's, hey, who has food in, who doesn't? And the rest of those tables go to whoever's taking over your section.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just how they work it. And then those people have 45 minutes to get off the clock. But if I haven't even started my side work, like during the week, if I'm one of one person on this set side work,
Yeah.
that's rough. Like I can roll a box of silverware pretty fucking fast, but how quickly am I getting that silverware? And on top of that, I have to do, whether it be all the wine glasses or all of the sauces or all of the, marking trays. And like now I'm running multiple things through the dish pit and I'm on his time.
Yep.
Well, we've done this before too. We've had cut slips before. When I started there, about 2 months into me being there, they brought the cut slips back because it's like an old policy that this location just didn't do anymore. And so they brought
it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. The side work is too immense. So that's when the side work got rewritten. Because at that point, one of our side works, was so extensive that nobody was coming anywhere close to even an hour and a half if you're alone on it. And so they reworked the side work and they're like, okay, this should get you closer to 45 minutes. And it still didn't. So after 2 months of that, they dropped that too. They were like, all right, whatever, just take the time that it takes.
Yeah. What I was going to say. Not to mention, if you have, even if the tables aren't active, you still can't abandon them.
No.
When you're rolling silverware, like, yeah, you can roll 2 or 3 and then go back to your section, check on everybody, and then go back and roll 2 or 3 and then go back to your section. Like, sure. But for the most part, people are going to try and like knock that out. It's also at the complete opposite end. Usually where you're rolling your silverware is not going to be anywhere near your section.
No, because we can't do any of it on the floor. The
Right.
guests cannot see us doing anything.
No.
There can be no prep work in eyesight of the guests because, God forbid, we prep anything in advance.
They've even like taken out some of our condiments and stuff like that from the kitchen to say like, oh, well, guests can see it if they're walking to the bathroom. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, well, this is what the kitchen
It's
is
the
where
kitchen.
it happens.
Yeah.
Where do you think I get it from?
Yeah, so they like...
I didn't pull it out of my ass when I got to the table. Like, obviously, I collected it from somewhere.
Yeah, so they put some stuff like all the way in the back
Yeah.
into dry storage to be like, oh, you have to come back in here to grab this stuff because, we can't have it, on the line.
It looks bad. And I'm like, what looks bad? And then it's like, but we can polish wine glasses out on the floor. Doesn't that look bad? Isn't that gross. You're making sure that that's clean and spot free for me? Gross. How could you? Like, I don't know. So the first night that this rolled out, that the cut slips rolled out, I was working and it was like, we're just going to see how it goes. We just like,
Sure.
Some people are taking just like a little bit too much time. And it's like, yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about. Like, I'm the closer, so I'm there with these people every night, and I'm watching them dick around and not even starting their side work. Like, they don't even have any tables, and they're still not starting their side work.
Yeah.
So, okay, maybe we should just talk to individual people. I don't know if this needs to be like a, restaurant-wide, everybody has to be off in 45 minutes.
Here's the thing though, is you're giving me these cut slips and be like, this is when we cut you, this is how many you have, da-da-da-da.
And it's up to you to give an estimate for when you think you're going to be off. So when we get the cut slip, they want us to fill out that bottom line when they hand it to us.
But that's what I'm saying, no one's ever collected those from me, so...
Well, you're supposed to turn them in with your checkout. That's the thing.
Nobody's asked me for that.
No, well...
Like, so do you have your
Tonight-
own thing going on?
Tonight, the manager that's leaving or not tonight, the other night, last night,
Mm-hmm.
just threw it away. It was like, just put that in the trash. And I'm just like, okay, yeah. But so anyways, the first night that this rolled out, I was not the closer. So I received a cut slip.
Mm-hmm.
And I did my fucking best. Like, I really did. But it's just me. And I've got to keep running through the wine glasses. And I've got to keep really refilling the sauces. Because I can't leave it to my closer. I can't just make... Now they have to do it all.
Yeah, I was gonna
because,
say-
I got to be off in 45 minutes. And it's like, no. So I ended up at an hour and 15 minutes, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I took half an hour longer. And when I went in to do my checkout, I told the manager who's implementing this, I was like, hey, so I went a little over. Here's why. And I said, listen, during the week when we only have one person per side work, this probably isn't going to work. It's just not. Now, on the weekends when we have buddies for every part of the side work, right? Like tonight, I had 2 people on each side work.
Yeah.
You guys can work that out together, and like one of you does 45 minutes, the other one does 45 minutes worth of work. You're probably going to get pretty close to that. You should, anyways,
Yeah.
unless you're screwing around, because there's definitely not more than an hour and a half's worth of work per side work.
No,
right?
but
If that's all you're focusing on.
A lot of that's going to land on people that have been here for a while versus new people as well. Like, those
Right.
new people aren't going to be rolling a box and a half of silverware in
Not very
15,
quickly.
20 minutes.
No.
Like, it's going to take them a while.
Yeah, and also, like I said, we're also on the dish pit's time.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, when they're available to run through the things, like, I can't tell you how many times I've had to ask to have wine glasses run through 5 times.
Yeah.
Now, I've asked, and I walk away. I ask again, I walk away. I get that they're busy. They shouldn't have to be on my time. So, yeah, like I said, they've implemented this before, and it falls through. And so I tried to make the statement of, like, hey, during the week, just from my own knowledge, I don't really see this working out to be any, like, no. And like I said, and I fucking tried. Like, I know what my side work is, and I busted it out at the quickest possible time, and it still took me an hour and 15 minutes because I did still have tables. And it's like, they only said that I had 2 active tables, but I had 4 tables. Now, I can't make that person eat their dessert any faster.
Right.
And so I can't drop their check any faster. So it's like, sure, I can do my side work in the meantime, but also I need to be out on the floor to make sure that if they did drop their card on that check, that I'm closing them out.
Yep.
You know, like, I can't just abandon everything, like you said, and just fuck off to the back for 20 minutes. That's not going to fly.
Yeah.
So
Especially if you have multiple tables at multiple different stages. You know
Sure.
what I mean? Like, you kind of have to be present in your section.
yeah, and just be around in case, well, what if they need a sauce? And I've been gone because, I got to get this 45 minutes out, you
Yeah.
know? So I get it. Like, I understand the reason why, and I get it because, like I said, there are people who 100% just milk the clock. They're just trying to get those extra hours to get it in there, and they could have been done, an hour ago. Like, I get it. But also, just,
Talk to those people.
that's what I mean. And it's like, but also just like, we're doing our best.
We
Like,
really are.
you're asking so much of me, side work wise. Just let me take the time that it takes me to do it. I promise you I'm not taking it around. I don't want to be here a moment longer than I have to.
That's what I'm saying is, like, yeah, talk to those people that are milking your clock because they're trying to milk your clock. Like, don't talk to me about this because, trust me, I don't want to fucking
The
be here.
moment I am cut, I've probably already started my side work. And so that was the other question that a lot of people had when these cut slips came out was, okay, well then do I get to start my side work
Yeah, 'cause
once
we're
I
not
know what
allowed
it
to.
is?
Mhm.
Right. Instead of waiting until I'm cut, can I start it a little sooner because I know what it is? So as the closer, I always put side work up as soon as I can. So that way everybody knows what they're having. If they have a problem with it, we can switch it around or fucking whatever. Like, everybody's aware. So it's like, okay, are we going to start doing silverware sooner? Because if I can roll my box of silverware well before I'm cut, then I will.
Right.
But you've told me repeatedly that I can't do that.
Like, lounge. As the lounge server,
Yeah.
I'm, you or I, because we both work out lounge a lot, we're meant to be doing 2 boxes.
Yeah, I have to do 2 boxes, all of the wine glasses and all of the, refillable condiments that we have. That's a significant amount of side work for one person to do. Even if I had no tables, doing all of that in 45 minutes, that's a close call. And I can roll boxes fairly quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
It's a lot to do, but on top of that, you are cocktail. So at the end of the night, people are coming in.
Yeah.
When we get those random rushes at the end of the night,
yeah, it's
more
me
often
and the closer.
than not, they're going to the bar.
Yeah.
And if they don't sit at the bar, they're sitting at a table, which the lounge server now needs to take care of.
Yeah.
So you're telling me, like, it's a weird it's a weird concept to be like, you have to be off in 45 minutes, but also you have an hour worth of side work and you have to finish out taking care of the four
Right.
tables that you have, because only one of them hasn't ordered entrees yet, so the rest of them should
So
be
you only
out.
get an extra 15 minutes.
Right. So, but I now need to be away from my section completely because the kitchen's not near the lounge
not at all.
in a way where I can watch what's going on with my tables while doing my side work.
Right.
So I have to polish all of the wine glasses, no eyes on my tables.
Right. Roll all my silverware.
Roll all silverware,
Fill all
no
the
eyes.
condiments.
Fill all condiments, no eyes.
Right.
So when am I meant to be getting in 45
Yeah.
minutes while finishing out tables while also doing all of these things, having no eyes on my table, to know at what point I need to leave my side work to make sure that my tables are being taken care of?
Right.
Because we do have a policy where our guests are the most important thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, your guest happiness it's top priority for us.
Right. Well, and that's also my money. Like, of
It's
course I
fair,
want to
yeah.
take care of my tables because that's my fucking money. That's how I make everything that I pay my bills with.
Yes.
But to me, it just feels like one of those corporate-led things where it's like, hey, we really need to crack down on that labor or fucking whatever else. And it's like, okay, I feel like this is probably going to fall through just like it has every other time that they implemented it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't hold weight, especially here, because like I said, once we're cut, we still get all of our tables.
Yeah.
And we don't even have other people to take those tables from us.
Yeah, and I would say
There's
lounge
nobody
is
else,
the
like-
only person that gets a replacement, like someone going
And
into
that's
their
only
section.
on some nights.
Yeah,
During the
even-
week, there's nobody to take over. So if you were to cut me and be like, okay, so 32 and 33 haven't put in food yet, who's going to take that? The closer on the other side of the restaurant?
Yeah.
Probably not. Like, no, there's just too much work. And it doesn't matter how they rework the side work unless they start giving it to back of house or to the hosts. There's no way that we're going to cut this any shorter.
That was the first thing I said. The first night they gave me a cut slip. I was like, "What's this?" They were like, "Well, we're implementing this thing. You need to be cut, in 45 minutes, blah blah blah." And I was like, "Okay, so what side work are you taking away from me and giving to somebody else so that I can make that happen?"
Right.
And the manager was just kind of like, "I don't know."
I don't
And he
know.
walked away. He's like, "I don't whatever."
And like I said, I get it. And for me, it just comes down to like, okay, pay attention to who's been cut and who's dicking around.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, that's the thing. Like, are they just standing on their phone? Are they actually waiting for anything? If you don't see them, like, because even while you're waiting for your silverware to get ran through, you can do other parts of your side work, you
Yeah.
know, unless you're just on rolls.
Hmm.
And in which case, like, yeah, that person's going to have some dead time because what do you want?
Yeah.
I can't actively be doing everything every moment of the time that I'm there. There will be lulls where there's just nothing I can fucking do.
Yeah.
And they just want me to I would just clock out.
And do work.
You're not doing anything. Clock out. Okay, well then I'm not going to continue doing anything and those rolls aren't going to get rolled.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's one of those things. It'll probably phase out like it has in the past.
Mm.
But yeah, that first night when it was like, okay, and then you need to estimate, like when you get the cut slip is when they want you to write in the time that you're going to be done by. And so I did the first 2 or 3 nights, right?
Hmm.
And then the other night, I just, like on Thursday, I just didn't fill it out until I was done. Because then I just wrote the time that I was in fact done by, and it's like, well, that was an hour. Sorry.
You ready to check out?
Yeah,
All
absolutely.
right, let's get out of here.
Bye.
Bye.